Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Pre-Market News and Views by In the Money Stocks. Today is Tuesday, October 9th, 2012. Let's jump right into the charts here. We'll start off with the usual S&P 500 E-mini futures. Like usual, they're trading higher this morning by about 2 points. You can see the futures had a nosedive of a move this morning around 3 o'clock in the morning. However, since that time frame, they have been creeping higher. That tells us that the dollar has been moving lower. Let's take a look at the U.S. dollar index chart. Sure enough, you can see the U.S. dollar index topped out right at that same time around 3 o'clock in the morning and has been trading lower, and that is helping the futures inflate and trade a little bit higher. So let's flip back to the futures chart. You'll see the S&P 500 E-mini futures trading right around this 1451.50 level, and we'll see where they go from here. If the dollar does decline further, you could look for the futures to trade up a little bit more. If the dollar starts to trade higher, then the S&P 500 futures should deflate and trade lower. But again, we'll see where this market opens. It looks like it's going to be a slightly positive open before the opening bell rings. But today could be an interesting day. Let's go over a few different things that are out there today. First thing you want to know is that German Chancellor Angela Merkel is visiting Greece today. They're going to talk about austerity, and they're going to talk about a few other things. There's massive protesting going on there, so we'll see how that plays out. Yesterday, the IMF looks like it cut its growth forecast. Again, that is another negative. There was also some data out of the UK today signaling further industrial production contraction. So you have to watch for that as well. And then you had the People's Bank of China, which is the Chinese central bank, injecting, I believe, $42 billion worth of liquidity into the financial system. So there goes the next quantitative easing taking place. You did have, I believe, the Shanghai index up last night about 2%. So nice little move on China. But the one thing today we'll talk about real quick is Baidu is trading lower on a downgrade, and that's even after the big injection of capital into the Chinese market. So we'll see if that really is not enough money. But either way, I'll show you Baidu in just a little bit. There's also some chatter out there that the IMF is going to be meeting with the EU, and everybody's going to talk about a potential write-down for Greece, debt write-down. There's other countries out there like Holland that are looking to actually have Greece leave the European Union. So again, this is not over by any stretch. Then you have Spain and Italy in the wings, and it looks like it's starting all over again, and we'll see how it all plays out and shakes out. Now let's take a look at oil and gold. We'll start off with oil this morning. Oil is trading higher by 86 cents to $90.18 a barrel. Let's take a look at the USO. The USO, you'll see, is trading decently higher to 33.47 a share, closed at 33.22. So you're getting a decent little pop this morning in crude, and also it's reflected in the USO. Gold this morning is just up $1 to $1,777 an ounce. Let's take a look at the GLD this morning. The GLD is trading around the 172.15 level. It closed at 172.05 yesterday a share. So we don't want to make too much out of this right now. Again, it's going to be all about the dollar. If the dollar strengthens, I think gold and oil could both pull back, but if the dollar starts to sell off the way it has been since 3 o'clock this morning, gold and oil could rebound and trade a little bit higher today. So we'll have to keep that on the radar. Silver is in the same camp there. That's usually the same category as oil and gold. Now let's take a look at a few stocks out there. We're going to start off with Baidu today. Baidu is gapping down decently. The stock yesterday closed, I believe, at 114.29. It's trading at 109.80. It was trading down as low as 108. Believe it or not, there's not a real solid support level for Baidu until this thing gets down to $100. So I'm not sure how it's going to trade out or what it's going to do, but until this thing gets down to $100, that is going to be the solid support level for any kind of a bounce. Prior to that, I guess this thing could go all over the map. I'm really not sure where it wants to trade up to or down to, but all I'll say is that the next big support level for this stock is going to be around $100. You'll have a little short-term support around 106.68, but I don't even like it at this stage of the game. Looking at the current pattern on the charts, let this thing fall to $100. If you want to buy it there for a bounce, that's your spot. Let it pierce $100. That's your bounce play. That's the only play that I see on Baidu. Even with the injection from the Chinese central bank last night, this stock is trading lower. That's not a good sign. Let's see what its cousins are doing. Sina, that's trading slightly lower. Sina closed at 61.13, now trading at 60.50. Take a look at Sohu. Sohu is another one trading at 40.50, closed at 40.70. Let's take a look at NetEase. NetEase is trading at 53.29. That one's holding steady. So again, Baidu trading lower, but I don't see a real solid level there until the stock reaches $100. Let's take a look at Netflix. Netflix is gapping down a little bit today. It has had a tremendous move. Those of you in the chat room know I talked about that level yesterday being hit up here around 74 bucks. Today it's gapping down. Again, it looks a little bit overcooked to me. If all the weak shorts are squeezed out of it, I don't know if there's much more upside in Netflix, but I'd let it fall back and give you more of a pattern. You'll get a little bit of support, I think, around the $67 level. That would be the gap fill, the recent gap fill from the 5th of October. So they'll have a little bit of support there intraday, but that's the only level that I see at the moment. SPB is gapping up this morning. This is Spectrum Brands. I believe that they bought a unit from Black & Decker. I'm not even sure what the news is. You have to check it out yourself. But again, I don't see there really being much of a trade here. This is now getting to overbought territory, so I don't know if there's much left on the upside there. It's a very thin stock, so you can't short it. You got to let it play out here, but you would not be a buyer here, okay? So do not look to buy this stock here at this level. It is overbought, extended. Maybe it goes higher just due to its thin volume nature, but there's nothing you really could do on an average day. This thing trades about maybe 100,000 or less. Recently, it's been trading a little bit more than that, 200,000. But these light volume stocks have a tendency to overshoot further than you think to the upside. But it's already overbought, so do not chase this thing up here. That is the deadly sin that many amateur traders commit to. Do not chase it. Just leave it alone. There's really nothing to do there. It's a nice move up. If you own it, start taking profits or trail your stop loss. But there's no play there. You don't want to chase it or own it at this stage. And you can't short it because the volume is just too thin. They may be able to squeeze this thing another $1 or $2. So again, it makes it a very difficult short trade. As far as gaps go this morning, I'm not really seeing all that much out there. We'll have to wait and see how the market reacts once the opening bell rings. One thing I do know is that the dollar is still strictly in charge of everything. And just watch the dollar here. If the dollar starts to fall, that ultimately will inflate the markets. If the dollar starts to rise, that will deflate the markets. But that's the only thing I'm seeing at the moment, and that's what everybody must watch for going forward. Okay? With that said, everybody, I'm going to leave today's market report nice and short. I'll see you all on the charts a little bit later. Have a great trading day, everyone. God bless.